Well, Madonna, first I want to say congratulations on this fabulous new book.
Thank you.
Loved
Thank
it.
you.
It's just so interesting to me how you have created such a beautiful fairy tale world, yet between the characters and the descriptions and certainly the illustrations, it's just interesting how you've really brought about such a solid message, so applicable to the real world.
Yeah.
I assume that was a conscious decision.
Absolutely. The reason that I started writing these books in the first place is because I felt that my daughter's bookshelves were, while there were, lots of cute books and lots of fantastic illustrations and stuff, there weren't that many stories that were about anything. If you read the classic fairy tales, it's always, the beautiful princess, and she gets the guy in the end, and I would find myself getting to the end of the stories and go, wait a second, and I'd look at my daughter and I go, they didn't even ask the princess whether she liked the prince. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I felt like I wanted to write stories, specifically, the English Roses and this story for girls who want to think.
Well, and I understand Lourdes was a very big part of the process.
Absolutely. The first story, The English Roses, was actually based on a group of girls that she went to school with. And she goes to a French school, and the teachers there referred to her little clique of friends as the English Roses. And I thought, that's a cool name for the book. And I actually, the girls, all their names are the real names of her friends, and certain situations were taken from stories that she told me, so she was influential in the creation of the first story. And then, of course, she got involved when I did the second one, because I came to her and I said, okay, they're in 5th grade now.
Right.
Do you have any special requests, anything you want to explore in this next book? And she said, Mom, you have to have a boy.
Oh, that's where Dominic came in.
Yeah.
Now, is he modeled after any real-life character?
I think a little bit of everything. I wanted to make him from another place. So, as I wanted to bring in an aspect of another culture and not just keep it, in England. And so decided to make him a Spanish exchange student. And I did have a crush when I was little on a boy named Dominic. So the first name was my idea and the second name was her idea.
Now, it's interesting, too. It's bringing it back to some of the emotions that you go through at that age, because I have an 11-year-old son. That's what I love about how you've conveyed some of the emotions that can be construed as negative and difficult and confusing emotions like jealousy and envy, and then what do you do when you have your first crush and what happens to your friendships.
Yeah.
But the way you portray it in the book is through a wonderful character, Mrs. Fluffernutter.
Yeah.
She makes it a wonderful, positive thing when you look at it in a different way, a different perspective.
Yeah. Well, Miss Fluffernutter was also an amalgamation of a lot of teachers that I had when I was growing up. And because I didn't have a mother when I was growing up, a lot of my teachers in school sort of became surrogate mother figures to me. And I was very attached to a number of them. They were incredibly maternal and loving towards me. And I would go to them and ask their advice. And so she's a combination of those people, of those teachers in my life, female teachers, yeah.
So you had more than one Mrs. Fluffernutter.
Oh, yes, I have. I've had incredibly charismatic and quirky and eccentric and loving teachers, from, my art teacher to my history teacher to my English teacher, so she is all of those people.
I don't know, this is a different subject, but I know exactly where you grew up. I
Are you
used
from
to live in
Michigan?
that area. Yeah, I used to live in Bloomfield
Okay.
Hills.
See, did I say that like a Michigander? Oh my
Right
gosh. Get in the car.
Love it. Obviously, the process, I mean, you are, mega superstar, and you have entered a world of writing children's books for a reason. Did it have anything to do with motherhood coming along your way?
Oh, absolutely.
How has that changed you?
I never would have thought about writing children's stories if I didn't have children, and I didn't, suddenly find myself going to bookstores and shopping for books for my daughter and then my son, and you become aware of that world, obviously, when you have children. You're reading books before bedtime. I'm sure you had that ritual with your son. Maybe not now, but when he was younger.
Absolutely.
So I think, being a parent changes you enormously.
In every way.
Yeah.
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 Very impressive, Madonna, that the proceeds from the book are being donated to your charity, and Raising Malawi is just such a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah. I feel like it's a privilege to be able to to be able to do what I do, to write books, which I enjoy doing, that hopefully inspire young girls in this case, and then I can take that money and help children who don't have parents and don't have, you know, their basic needs met. And it's, to me, it's just full circle. Yeah, full circle. Yeah.
Is there any one particular character that you relate to the most?
I think I relate to Bina the most, because, you know, for obvious reasons, her mother died when she was young, and I think that I've obviously, you know, since I've, you know, started my work in the entertainment business, I feel like people have, you know, put a lot of preconceived notions on me and kind of held a lot of things against me or misjudged me or had a lot of prejudices, and so she's a combination of my life as a child and my life as an adult, much more than the other girls. Although, like we were talking about earlier, I've also been the other girls too in my school, and I've been incredibly jealous of the girl with naturally blonde hair that everyone's besotted by. So, you know, I think in the end I relate to all of the characters, but mostly Bina. Yeah.
Your daughter being at the age of when you had your first crush.
Yes.
It is scary.
It's very yikes.
I know. It's interesting, and I'd love to hear your perspective on friendships at that age. And I'm sure it's different for little girls than it is for little boys.
Yeah, I would imagine.
How much do you think friendships at that age impact an individual little girl's self-esteem?
I think friendships are essential. I think my daughter is very informed by her friends at school. I mean, she kind of has pockets, because we travel a lot. She has a core group of friends in LA, a core group of friends in New York, and a core group of friends in London. And I think if she didn't have those friends, traveling would be harder for her. But they are her security in a way, and I think that's what makes her feel comfortable when we travel. And I see how she misses her friends and wants to call them when she's on the other side of the world. And I see the importance of them in her life. And also when she feels that, you know, somehow, you know, one of her friends has let her down, you know, I see her disappointment. So I think they're as important to us as children as they are to us as adults.